Hello, this is the third episode of the series, the infamous series, movies that I'm ashamed to admit to owning, but own them anyway for some reason. The last two episodes, of course, focused on comedies, or romantic comedies to some extent. Of course, those are Bewitched and Hitch. I'm still quite embarrassed about revealing Hitch last week, but this week I have a slight change of pace. This week I've got a superhero movie that I'm going to actually show you that I own for some reason. So without further ado, I suppose the movie that I speak of is Daredevil. Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner here. This movie is probably really, really, really terrible. See, the thing about this movie is I don't remember anything about it. I watched it a long time ago, but I for some reason, don't remember how terrible it is. So it technically could be a masterpiece for all I know. I'm assuming that it's not, and I'm assuming that it's one of the worst movies of all time. At least one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Anyway, I was thinking about this, and I have a few theories as to perhaps why I don't remember particular things about how I obtained this film, or why I don't remember anything actually about watching it. The first theory that I came up with was actually that I never bought this movie, but that I rented it, and that after having watched it, I felt so much pity for everyone else having to watch it, and I just felt ashamed for having watched it and for having gone through what I've been through, what I went through watching the film, that I actually killed myself and died, and then went to hell, and then I'm actually in hell now, and my punishment for my suicidal ways is having Daredevil in my collection. So, which would be fitting because it's Daredevil, devil, and he's got a red suit. It's Ben Affleck, for Christ's sake, and he has horns sticking out of his suit. So I'm sure you can kind of see the connection that I'm making there, I hope. The second theory that I had was that I actually did buy the film, but that I watched it, and again, just thought that it was so abysmal that I never actually wanted to remember anything that I had seen, or I wanted to just eliminate the fact that I actually did buy it. So I hit myself over the head, or in the face, or in the temple with a blunt object, and then knocked myself unconscious, which prevented me from remembering anything that had happened before that, including watching and buying Daredevil, which I never wanted to do. Anyway, the only thing that I could actually think of that this film might be good for is scattering a large room. Like if, let's say you have guests or something like that, you could probably put this film on and then they would leave immediately because it's terrible. I wouldn't actually know. I've never actually tried that before because I'm actually a reclusive hermit who never actually sees the light of day, never actually interacts with anyone or has anyone over to watch movies. I just sit around and pity myself for having terrible movies in my collection like Daredevil, and that's pretty much all I do. And now that I'm actually admitting that I have Daredevil in my collection, if I ever did want to have someone over to watch a movie, they probably would turn me down because who wants to go over to someone's house who has Daredevil? No one is the answer to that question. So I'm just digging myself deeper here, digging myself into a hole. So that's all. I hope this didn't go on too long. I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you for watching.